Welcome to our annual exhibit of hydrogen fuel cell technologies at the Hanover Fair. You are now at an event that has become super popular over the years. This is the elevator pitch segment of our show. Elevator pitch on electrolyzers. Now, electrolysis is familiar to most people. You put electrical energy in, through water, you split it, and you get the hydrogen out, and it's a wonderful way to store or carry energy. It plays a huge role. Everyone, I think, knows that there's no way to get to a complete cycle of renewable energy to have a carbon-free economy without using electrolysis. So that has been the subject for over a decade now. This all started in 2015. It was the brainchild of Herr Renz, Tobias Renz. He thought up this program, and it was a reflection really of how much space was occupied by the electrolyzer industries. If you go back to the high point, it started in 2015. By 2020, a good third to a half of the space at this trade fair was occupied by the electrolysis industry. Obviously, a sea change has happened here. So when I look at the list of players who were here in 2015, none of them are participating today. Things have changed radically. There's been consolidation, there's been refocusing on niche markets or existing markets, and there's been also a failure perhaps in political policy to get us moving towards a renewable energy economy. One thing has changed. It is the approach of the business people themselves, I think, to the market, and I suppose the policy is give me revenue or give me death. That is, rather than talking about future visions, they actually have business models. They're quite viable and they're generating income. So we are going to have 7 people on the stage, one after the other. They're going to make a short pitch about their technology. The elevator pitch, the door opens of the elevator. They have to talk very quickly. The door closes. The next person comes up. After these 7 gentlemen present their business models, we're going to join each other on the stage and have a knockdown, drag-out debate about the advantages and disadvantages and directions of this entire industry, which is so vital. There is no way, as I've said, to get to renewable energy economies without electrolysis. But where are we now, and where do we have to go from here? So without further ado, I want to invite the first speaker up onto the stage, Manuel Ansamo, who's not here for the first time. Many will know him, a member of the board of directors of R&D and project manager at Blue Energy Revolution. Manuel, welcome.
Thank you. Do you hear me? Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you for this event. So today, I'll speak about Blue Energy Revolution, which, by the way, you can see our stand right there with a container with shiny lights on top of it. But today, we speak about electrolysis, electrolyzers, our electrolyzer product, and our new product, which is correlated to electrolysis, which is a dryer. So very quickly, I invite you to visit our website, where you can find our products, among which there is our energy pack, a hydrogen battery in a container, but most importantly, our electrolyzer, our dryer, and our hydrogen storage on metal hydrides. So let's deep dive into it. So our electrolyzer is a 7 or 14 kilowatt PEM electrolyzer. And we are very happy that starting from the end of 2024, we are delivering our products to our customers. And we wanted to showcase our customer and partner Citigas in Italy, in the south of Italy, where they will realize a laboratory for testing 100% hydrogen burners with our electrolyzers. So thank you to Citigas. And you can see here our products, which I'm very proud to say were launched right here. So we launched the pre-series electrolyzer product in 2023 at the Hydrogen and Fuel Cell of Hannover Messe. There we had our electrolyzer concept, our pre-series. It was launched here and we said, hey everybody, in the next years we will have a product. And indeed last year we were here again and we were telling you that we were delivering the products to our customers. And indeed this happened. Today we can say that we are delivering the first products. One of these, by the way, you can see it installed inside our container. This will go to Greece in the context of a European funded project in Ptolemaida. and it will be part of our energy pack. Further electrolyzers will be delivered again in a containerized solution, but what is most important for us is the expected sales for next year. So we plan to deliver up to 12 systems in 2026. We are a small enterprise. We are not electrolyzer manufacturers only, but we have a product which applies to a number of niche applications, and we hope to deliver this product to many more customers. So what is remarkable of the system, which, by the way, you can see live streaming operating at our booth by visiting us, we acquire data in real time when our customers agree to share the data with us, and we can do predictive maintenance and performance analysis. We have a very smart HMI control of the system, whereby, among other things, you can check the state of alt of the stack, of the core, the technological core of the system, and checking the polarization curve, how is evolving in the hours of operation. We monitor all the lines of the system and the operating hours of each one of them, making easier the servicing and maintenance of the system. And by the way, we have a peculiar approach on the handling of the regeneration of the dryer columns. Out of this experience, starting from this year, 2025, we have a new product on the market, which is correlated to electrolyzers, which is a dryer. This dryer was specifically designed for a segment of hydrogen production, which is up to 2.5 kilograms per hour. And in this segment, we developed this system and delivered the first unit, ATEX, PAD, and CE certified, to our customer in Switzerland. So we are very happy to have this new product, which we hope will open many new collaborations and projects. So come and visit us at our stand, find out more about our products and our energy pack in a containerized solution. Thank you for your attention, and looking forward for the debate in some minutes from now. Thank you.
Thank you, Manuel. Manuel, if you can pass the microphone on, our next guest up on the stage is Ulf Jurgensen, who's CEO H2 Core Systems, and not a first-timer. He's coming back. Welcome.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks for having me here. Talking about business cases. So imagine hydrogen business doesn't need external money. Hydrogen business or hydrogen systems are used as secure, cost-effective, and available energy systems, securing energy all over the globe right now within weeks. Sounds like a miracle for some of you, maybe, because the business hasn't happened like that in the past very much. But what we want to show here is that business cases are available, commercially attractive green business cases, renewable energy available globally by meeting all objectives you can see here on the page. So we want to meet the environmental objectives that are coming up very strong, and of course operational objectives. All the stakeholder topics need to be fulfilled. And what we're talking about is, or what we do with our systems is, or what H2 Core system does with its electrolyzers combined with fuel cells and storage, is bridging the gap between, for the right both columns. You can see here, so batteries are part of the package, but we want to bridge the gap, replace diesel gensets, and that's what we do all globally. Our systems meet the energy trilemma. Speeding up here with a presentation, I don't want to read through all those details, but you will be aware of the situation. We do this in a complete modular and scalable design. Starting with the electrolyzers, we're using AEM electrolyzers from Enapter. Combine those with compression, with storage, and with the fuel cells of different companies, water-cooled, air-cooled, everything is available. And we are mainly focusing on the offtake markets, so giving power, giving gas for chemical processes or for power and heat applications. And that's been done all over the globe already. We've realized more than 300 projects in 40 countries. And yeah, it's coming up more and more, getting serial products. System modularity is the key for us. So our systems are versatile, scalable, and flexible. And as what helps us a lot is that we may be also different than other business cases under other partners or other companies on the globe, is that we team up with partners very strong. I'll get back to that point later. We want to de-risk the supply chains. The past years have shown that supply chains relying on diesel and gas aren't really reliable, and you cannot have real estimations of what's going on the next years. So we want to take care of that. As you can see, the hydrogen supply chain for on-site production or decentralized production is very much shorter than all the others, and that's what we want to do. We reduce the OPEX extremely compared to diesel gensets right now, and if you want to have more details on this, please get to our booth here in the hall DO7. And getting back to the business models that are strongly relying on the partnerships. We are sure that the markets all over the globe require reliable energy systems much more than we in other countries than, for example, in Europe or Germany. And that's why we rely on strong partnerships. So we are building up local content, local partners. We are working closely together with already existing companies that take care of the energy supplies of, for example, mobile phone antennas in other countries like Africa, like Kenya, South Africa, Australia, where we exchange their, or where they want to extend their business with green energy supply chains. And we don't want to replace their business model. We want to extend their business model with our technology so that they can have a smooth transition from diesel genset to green energy systems. We do the trainings, we do the commissionings, installations, we start the business together, roll it out, and then in the next steps, we really start production locally as a joint venture to really speed things up. Those are the use cases we are aiming at, and believe it or not, all those can be green right now already with the existing technology, with the reliable technology of electrolyzers and fuel cells. Last slide. We've got a continuous improvement process that's happening, of course, and as I said, partnering up to realize all those systems is the main key factor. That's it. Thank you very much. Thanks for your attention, and looking forward to the next steps.
Thank you. Up next on stage is Dennis Bauer. Yeah, there he is. If we could pass the microphone on. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dennis. I'm area sales manager at Neumann & Esser, and I just want to take you with me shortly into Neumann & Esser Group. Let's start with a little bit of history. Neumann & Esser is almost 200 years old. Thank you. We are a family business still. Stephanie and Alexander Peters are since 2008 the managing partners and main owners of the company. Our product portfolio is quite wide. It starts with consulting services when it comes to business cases in the hydrogen value chain to check for bankability, for example. Electrolyzers, that's the main focus for now. Compressors and other products like mills and classifier systems. The size of the company is about 1,800 people worldwide, 480 million euros turnover, and you see where we come from compressors, 5,500 compressors worldwide in operation, 2,000 of them in hydrogen applications already, and an increasing number of PEM electrolyzers mainly, 10 and more are coming. We have a global footprint. This is not just a global footprint on sales, project management, but more important, service. So we are everywhere in the world, close to our customers when it comes to our products, when it comes to reliability and and availability, much more important. Yeah, so this was always, for the last 100 years, our main product, our own product, the Bear compressor, reciprocating piston compressors. What did we do with that one? We integrated this compressor into a complete system, process gas system, lubrication system, cooling water system. So our expertise always was integrating a core product into a working system. And we adapted that to a PEM electrolysis when we looked upstream, of the compressor in the hydrogen value chain. We decided to go with PEM in that case. We integrate a stack from suppliers like Bosch, you can see in the back. And this is our small platform, the S platform. It carries 2 stacks maximum. The larger one carries 4 to 5 stacks, 4 Bosch stacks, for example. As you can see it here, this is our 5 megawatt platform where, does that work? Not really good, but probably you can see it. So 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks, each 1.25 megawatts, so 5 megawatt in total. It comes in 2 40-feet containers. What you need on top of that is a rectifier and transformer for the stacks itself. This comes in another 40-feet container, so 3 40-feet containers for 5 megawatt. That's the footprint. Here you see a 1 megawatt system installed. We look onto the main container, and on the left-hand side, you can see the power container. What do we do with these products like electrolyzers and compressors? We do integrate all these products into one turnkey solution if required. And this here is a complete integrated solution where we act as an EPC. It's twice 5 megawatts, so in total 10 megawatts, together with compression to 500 bar. We talk about 180 kilograms an hour, more or less. With diaphragm compressors, twice 50%, plus another reciprocating piston compressor, dry running to 500 bar for another 100% capacity. So complete redundancy in that case. And the hydrogen will be filled finally in trailers. You see three trailer filling ports, more or less, here. And this is being realized in an area where brown coal was the main player for the last centuries. And of course, this is going down. And this is a great opportunity to bring new jobs, to replace jobs in a decentralized infrastructure for renewable hydrogen. But to achieve all that, of course, supply chains must be secured. What does Neumann and Esser do in order to secure this? We invested a lot in the last years. Here you see our headquarters and another piece of land pretty much the same size, where we start by beginning of 1st April, the assembly of our electrolyzers in our own fabrication hall. The same we already did in Brazil, in Belo Horizonte, where we extended our existing assembly hall and is already finished, and assembly of electrolyzers takes place. Thank you for listening, and even we have a stand here in Hall 13. Please visit us. We are at E27. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could pass the microphone on. Up next on the stage is Matt Barney, who is Chief Hydrogen Business Development Officer at GeoPura. Matt, welcome. First time in Hanover. Welcome.
Fantastic. Many thanks, and a great joy and privilege to be here. So a little bit about our journey and our story, noting your comments about revenue, the need to revenue and commercialize. So we've been on a journey at GeoPura for the last 5 years, really brilliantly supported by our big brother Siemens Energy. So we're a collaboration arrangement from day one. Siemens Energy are also a shareholder in our business, as are General Motors. So we've got some great support in kind and also in engineering expertise behind us. But we've been on a journey deploying hydrogen power units. These are power generation systems for an array of customers in a real commercial space. So built on 100% commercial model, raising revenue so that we can continue to grow and scale. Starting at fairly small scale, I have to say. So we're looking to provide power generation systems ranging from a few kilowatts up to initially 250 kilowatts. We're now expanding our portfolio, and if you come and visit us on Stand CO3, you'll see our new system, which is actually a 500 kilowatt system. So point 3 on this chart, power generation. That's what it's all been about. However, and it's a big however, we've quickly found out that we couldn't get our hands on hydrogen supply, and our shareholders became quite nervous. They could see we could scale our manufacture. They could see that we got great customers like Netflix, like the armed forces in the UK, like power generation companies such as Uniper, queuing up to buy our services. But where could we get the hydrogen from? And so we've gone back along the complete value chain. You can see manufacturing green hydrogen. We've actually become the UK's biggest producer of green hydrogen, which is fantastic. We've learned a lot. I'll talk about that in a little second. And we've also invested in the infrastructure and the tube trailers so we can get to the end of this curve, providing credible, reliable, scalable, zero-emission power to our customers. So in hydrogen space, we've built out electrolyzers. We have 3 commercial production sites in the United Kingdom producing hydrogen 365 days a year. This is highly reliable. We depend on it. It's the backbone of our business. So 3 sites. You're welcome to come and visit, by the way, if you're in the UK. And we're also storing that hydrogen in a fleet of tube trailers. We have about 80, well, coming up to 80 tube trailers in our fleet, MCPs, and we're compressing that hydrogen to 300 bar. And as I say, we're doing this every day, utilizing alkaline electrolyzers, small scale. This is modular stuff, simplistic. 1 megawatt electrolyzers, building up through the value chain, using green energy and a renewable water source for the inputs. This is a little bit, just a tiny bit of detail. The government have also got behind us. But this is a former coal-fired power station site where we're now building 15 megawatts of capacity in the Midlands in the UK. We've got plans to then put in a further 30 megawatts next year. As I say, the initial 15 megawatts supported in part by the UK government. And the story rolls on. To just say it's real, it's not just PowerPoint. This is our production site now, our 15 megawatt production site at High Marnham in the East Midlands. You can see some of our tube trailer fleets there. You can see some of the other stocks and the tube trailers and some of the hydrogen power units as well around. It's big scale stuff, starting from a very small base. But boy, we've still got a lot to do. So there's some of our customers. So this is real, as I say, every day. It's tangible, it's palpable, and it's really, really exciting. Stancio 3 over there, come and visit us, come and have a chat. I'd love to talk to you, I'd love to hear more about your stories. And also, if you need hydrogen, we're transporting hydrogen now right across Europe. So if you need green hydrogen to get your projects going, let us help. Let us help with the technology that we've learned. We're all in this together. We're trying to build hydrogen supply chain. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you could pass the microphone on. Up next on the stage is Dr. Andrea Pucci, who is commercial manager at Electroly. And yeah, welcome.
Thank you to everybody. I'm Pucci Andrea from R2, gas hydrogen generator manufacturer since the year. The history of our company, of people of our company, dates back to the year 87, when we started the production of the first electrolyzers, a small electrolyzer aimed for soldering application.
Dr. Pucci, could you hold the microphone closer? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, for soldering application. Nowadays, we have developed a large range of generators and a large worldwide experience with many installations in more than 50 countries. I don't speak about the hydrogen market because I think everybody knows already. So I go on, and I prefer to talk to you about our production. Our production is full electrolyzer, 2 technologies, PEM technologies and alkaline technology. We have a larger range of hydrogen generator, starting from small generator, 1 cubic meters per hour, up to 1 megawatt power in both technology, PEM and alkaline. We have realized the installation. The most important is in Netherlands for the production of 1.5 megawatt. We can also provide a tailored solution, and 1 megawatt has a special feature that is flexibility, because we have developed a system that can switch on and off the stacks in order to prolong the life of the stacks and to be able, with an alkaline system, to work from a minimum power of 8% of the maximum power up to 100% by switching on and off the stacks of the generator. The PEM generator is quite recently, we developed these systems matched with our hydrogen alkaline system a few years ago, but we have been fast in developing a large series up to 1 megawatt. Mercury has been developed mostly for industrial, in which we are present with a large variety of generator up to 250 kilowatt, and mostly are used for metal heat treatment in the industry. The latest project is the megawatt module that is for energy application. We produce also special items for gas treatment, like a dryer for hydrogen, but also purifier up to 1 parts per million impurity in hydrogen stream. The pressure we can provide built inside of the generator is up to 30 bar. These are our recent installation we have made, 1 megawatt and a half in Netherlands, in Italy 0.5 megawatt, and 0.5 megawatt are the two plants, 0.5 megawatt in Italy. This is our new building we have recently acquired, in which we will move soon. It is in Livorno, Tuscany. Business plan, of course, is development. And thank you very much. We are in all 13 stand E39/1. In case you would like to visit us, it will be my pleasure to receive you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Pucci. I'll take that. Up next on stage, if I can see my notes here, Stefan Ladd. You're here. Hello. Team lead business developer at Quest One. Welcome to the stage, and there's your microphone.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. So I think it's safe to say the hype is over. Yeah, but I think there is a silver lining, and that's the innovation and also the commitment that you can see here in Hall 13, actually. And that's really everybody here pushing the hydrogen economy forward. Politics probably won't solve our issues. So it's really, it's innovation, it's a commitment, but it's also bankable projects, it's bankable suppliers. Yeah, and this is where we come in, Quest One. We are part of the Volkswagen Group, yeah, and what they bring is the scaling in series and production expertise, and this is really where we profit from. In addition, strong global supply chain, automotive standards, this is what helps us to make sure to deliver on time quality. I don't see anything here, so I have to look here. I don't remember my own slides. I'm guilty as charged. Our mother company, MAN Energy Solutions, they do have a big green portfolio. Yeah? So in their portfolio, they have heat pumps, large industrial scale heat pumps. They have cryo equipment, they have CCUS, they have H2 compression systems, methanol and methane reactors, and on top of that, they also do power-to-X EPC. So together with them, we're in a position that we can also offer turnkey hydrogen plants at a very big size. Last of us, obviously us, Quest One. We're in the market already for more than 25 years. In 1997, Quest One was already here, different name, HTech Systems. This is where we originate from, but 1997, Hannover Fair, we have been here already. So the experience that we have is not just on paper, it's not just in the lab, it's really from out in the field, from real projects. This is where we come from. And It makes us a truly bankable supplier with a track record and also now with the capacity to de-risk projects. And the portfolio that we have is ranging from 1 megawatt plug-and-play containerized systems to 10 megawatt skids, and together with our mother company, MAN, really large-scale 50 megawatt puzzle pieces. You can scale them 50, 100, 150, methanation projects, you name it. So really, we can offer, in the end, customized solutions to your needs. In the end, the takeaway, what do we bring to the game? It's really bankability. So we have the setup, we have the proven technology, scalable production, and we have everything to bring the idea to the reality. So I'm really looking forward to discuss with you, to bring challenges to solutions. We're here, right over there. I think C49 is where our booth is. Yeah, C49, so see you around. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Up next on stage is Stefan Ziebel. If you could grab the that there, and I'll pass on the microphone to you. Yeah, welcome back.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see you again.
Yes. So I need the presentation. So this is the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
So I meet a CEO in the elevator or shareholder. Okay, you are the shareholders now. I make a pitch. We meet in the elevator, okay?
Yeah.
So, dear CEO, dear shareholder, we meet you in the elevator, and I would like to convince you in 3 minutes that it's a good idea to invest much more money in the electrolyzer technology here at Bosch. We need some money, some budget, and we need some people, some engineers in factory and R&D who are working with us on the electrolyzer technology. Just to give you one example, in Germany, we have an energy demand all over the year of 2,400 terawatt hours energy, diesel, petrol, electricity, and natural gas. And from this 2,400 terawatt hours, 900 terawatt hours is natural gas. It's molecules. What we need for our industry, what we need to heat our homes, and what we need for our process industries. But natural gas is fossil. And we want to decarbonize our planet, or not Germany, for example, in this case. So from this 900 terawatt hours, only for Germany, we have to produce green hydrogen. And also, our country has to be more independent from importing molecules like natural gas. So I think that investment in the electrolyzer technology, based on the competencies we have in Bosch, on our scaling in our factories from the automotive business, on our competencies we have because we already have driven 10 million kilometers with our fuel cell trucks on the road. We have more than 2,000 PEM trucks on the road running. So let's take this technology to make an electrolyzer based on the PEM technology, because we already have this technology in our house, and we already have suppliers, and we already have partners to bring this into mass production. Dear shareholder, are you convinced now? No, you are not. Okay. But I tell you, we meet here in the elevator, and I tell you, we already have signed contracts more than 100 megawatt. So it's not a new business. We have already some customers. They ask Bosch, I want the stack. And dear Mr. President, I meet you here in the elevator. If you want to see our booth, you can see the stack. And if you want to see some partners, they have integrated our stack to produce green hydrogen, come to the container behind the stage, and you will see the company Fest GmbH, who made the integration of a 2.5 megawatt electrolyzer system. Dear Mr. President, dear shareholder, meet you here in the elevator. It's a pleasure to meet you here. And I told you, we already started this business. We have good partners on the supplier side. We have good engineers here in Germany in Austria, all over Europe working on this technology. We have good technicians in our factories. They want to bring that to mass production. They want to do something for our planet. They want to reduce natural gas consumption in our country. But we started with these small systems in the megawatt scale, which you can see again on the container here behind the stage of the elevator. But we want to go to the gigawatt scale. We want to bring mass production with our stacks, with our Hybrion stack. By the name, we have a name for the stack, it's Hybrion. We want to go and scale these stacks for hydrogen to North Africa, to Greece, to Spain, where we have sunshine, where we have wind, where we have low OPEX, low cost of electricity, and we want to convert this hydrogen based on our Bosch technology to bring us to Germany, to Europe, to other countries, to reduce the carbon emissions. So dear shareholder, you like to invest in this project? We are convinced it's a good idea. We're here on the stage and we are ready to discuss. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And with that, you can hang on to the microphone because we're all coming back up on the stage here for the discussion, which is the most. And I hope, gentlemen, I have to ask permission. Can I make this a little controversial so the audience stays awake? Please join us. Is this all? Yeah, everyone on stage here. I have questions for everyone, but I wanted to start with actually the last point. I'm going to pass that microphone on to you. The last point, which is so important, if you understand the history, basically we used to have a large electrolysis manufacturers, not system integration people, but large people who did nothing but make electrolyzers. And they would come up on the stage and say, you know, grid stabilization is the first goal, but basically you want to replace, as you said, non-renewable natural gas with hydrogen. And how you're going to do that? We'll use renewable energy. And it's kind of obvious, and it looked obvious at the time in 2015 to say this is the way we were going. The problem is people have had their pants down long enough. What I'm saying is, are we going to actually try to do this at the same time that we're competing with the price of natural gas? One of the members of our team on stage once remarked that only 1% of the hydrogen produced today is produced with electrolysis. There are cheaper sources of hydrogen, and this is the problem, because you know, between us and the goal of replacing natural gas with hydrogen, we have a price issue and we have a survival issue. When I said, and I wasn't joking, it's, you know, revenue or death, I like some of the approaches where people talk about remote applications. I don't know where else the revenue is going to come from. If you don't have a plug-and-play unit, if you don't have a local application, how easy is it going to be to garner support for a project that is large scale when the financial viability, and I'm not blaming you, I'm blaming, of course, the context of our industry and how we've been left out to dry for the past, well, almost decade. We need policy. We need a pile of things. But seeing as I criticize this point, and I didn't really criticize it, but I make the point that literally we cannot be asked to compete with cheap hydrocarbons, which are also a source of hydrogen, and at the same time scale up. It's unfair. We can, and this is where well, the business model that is remote is not ruffling any feathers, but it's keeping the industry alive, which is kind of nice as well. So maybe we can start with two comments. First of all, to you directly, what about this issue of how do you scale up when you're at the same time being asked to compete with hydrocarbons? One member of Neumann and Esser, who was on the stage, made this point that we really want to do remote energy supply in Germany, and the response to that was a member of the German government who said, what, at 4 times the cost? So the cost factor is important. How would you respond to this scaling issue?
Yeah, maybe three hello, okay. 3 points to answer. So first of all, I love competition, yeah, because without competition, it's boring, yeah. So that's the first point. So if we have competing molecules, that's okay, yeah. We have to fight for. Second is when we see the we have seen a lot of electrolyzer topics here on the stage on the presentation. I think 2023 we had approximately 1 gigawatt installed capacity. 1 year later, 2.5 gigawatt. And now the FID we're seeing is approximately 25 for the next 3 years. So we are really ramping up this market. So my second point is there is such a big motivation in the market. There are a lot of people, they believe that we have to invest in this industry and their use cases that they pay for, yeah? It makes sense. And the third topic is, if we believe that this planet is a good one and this should be like today in 2050, we have to do something to reduce emissions. And therefore, I think it's absolutely necessary to further invest and to compete against other molecules.
So that's spoken from my heart, but when I get corrected by the Ministry of the German government saying that's an ideological argument, I tend to worry. Ulf, your comment about local applications would be apropos here. How do we keep the industry alive?
Yeah, we are going exactly another path because we think that hydrogen business needs to be a business model that's working on its own with other, targeting other markets first or in addition at least. I absolutely agree with Matthias that we need the big industrial solutions to decarbonize everything, all the energy systems. But what we are really lacking in the hydrogen business is that none of us has been earning money, at least not really many companies. And that needs to change because we can't invest billions and billions in the same technology advancing, but in the end, there's no off-taker for the big ones because it's 4 times more expensive maybe and stuff like that. So I think we at least need an additional business case, and that's targeting at the niche markets that are requiring cheap, commercially attractive, maybe not cheap, but commercially attractive energy, secure energy supplies for those, for example, mobile phone antenna, diesel genset replacements or stuff like that, where energy, because energy from the European and German perspective is cheap. So we've got cheap energy. It's always available. 100% of the year energy is available here. So we don't need to argue about that. But that's just luxury, because in the rest of the world, in many countries and areas, energy is not available at all 24/7. It's not cheap. It's not decarbonized at all. So that's the market, and that's where we actually now already can earn money. So that's why we aim at those smaller business cases, rolling out high numbers, high iterations, because if we are going from 100 megawatt scale systems, that's great for the industrial stuff, but to be honest, we might know in 10 years if that has worked out what we thought was necessary in 10 years before.
Stefan, you made a comment. Of course, you're all going to jump in freely at some point here, but Stefan, you made a comment at the beginning, the hype is over. And I really want you to define what you meant by that, because I think there is a recognition that there's going to be a reshuffling, despite the fact that the end goal, I agree, is going to be the replacement of fossil fuels. And with that electrolysis, it's always been my position. And yet here we are, it's a different environment, at least at this trade fair. So Stephen, why the hype is over?
The hype is over because, I mean, the reality is that if you look like 5 years back, there was all those predictions by the McKinseys, etc., that showed you curve that were like this for the hydrogen market, yeah? And I think that all the players in the market, they started doing their homework, yeah? Building capacity, etc., showed commitment, but the reality is that we were under the impression that it's a race, but it's not really a race, it's really a marathon, yeah? And I think probably that's even healthier, yeah, to take it step by step. But this is the phase that we're in right now, yeah? And I think we have to prove the commitment, and we'll get there eventually, but it needs partnerships, committed partnerships, and in the end, bankable projects, bankable suppliers, etc.
There is literally a case to be made for a lot of the presence here, speakers with potentially large capacities for construction to electrolysis, and in fact, the customer base, the revenue base was kind of shy. I refer to this simply because we have someone on the stage for the first time who talked about his revenue, that is customers, client-driven. Are you a systems integrator? Do you provide turnkey solutions? Is that the magic that you're doing? Because of course, backup auxiliary power for things like telecoms, that's been around for a while, and it's actually funded the development of our industry to some extent. What is the actual unit you provide and your client base?
Yeah, so we did 10 years R&D in all sorts of interesting areas before GeoPura started in 2019. But we got to the point where we were sick of seeing Greta, and take this in the right way, dear Greta Thunberg, on the TV declaring climate emergencies, but hydrogen not making those steps we'd all been promised and delivered. So we went back to real initial basics, started as small as we could, and we've gone super module. Now our horizon point is on big scale. We're excited about the day we have one of your gigawatt scale capacity. We've got planning consent for a gigawatt scale at our site at High Marnham Power, but now we're modular. So our project range is all highly plug and play, highly modular, really, really agile, simple to deploy. This is not rocket science, it's simple. But our focus is on scale. We're interested in the energy transition as we always all have been. Yes, the deck of cards is changing slightly. We are entirely focused on revenue. We have to be. But the vision we have is scale. And that's why I go back to collaboration, your comments about climate change. The situation isn't getting any better. The duty is still upon us all to get to where we need to get to. So we're 1 megawatt today. We're going up hopefully 5 megawatts, 10 megawatts, and our next system towards 30. And that's also on the hydrogen generation side. We're now supporting data centers, Microsoft, larger applications. So it's little tiny baby steps, but heading in the right direction until we can secure one of your magnificent systems, or perhaps ITM's, or even one of Siemens Energy's. All of them, hopefully.
Dennis, you're another person who provides integrated solutions, that is turnkey advantages for your clients. What is the client base? I mean, I think right now the clients don't come to you to seek for a service because necessarily they want to solve climate change. I think there are often very practical issues for which fuel cells and electrolysis provide better solutions to their issues.
I mean, one thing is definitely very clear. So once you can electrify, that's what you have to do, and not think about hydrogen. Huh? When you convert to hydrogen, of course, you lose some of the efficiency, and that's only the second way you go. Huh? And even when you are then already in a molecule, in a hydrogen molecule, you again would think twice whether you liquefy it, whether you convert it to ammonia and things like that. So, but nevertheless, we do have the projects and we do have the customers asking for integrated solutions with hydrogen production, compression, trailer filling, and things like this. And it's more or less the decentralized projects for decentralized infrastructure, which makes us actually accelerating the energy transition, because the large-scale centralized projects, they take much longer and they are much more complicated to realize. And therefore, we need these smaller projects. We lost a lot of time, I would say, in the couple last years on the realization of these projects. Many of them died even before they were realized. Why? Because of so high and large hurdles on bureaucracy.
Yeah.
We lost so much time on applying for funding, applying for permissions, yeah? And all these things made so many companies, so many investors stopping the investment at all. And on top of that, the small and medium-sized companies, which we have a lot in Germany, but all over. Only a small amount of the companies are the large ones. And the small and medium-sized companies, they don't have the capacity to go these processes for funding application and things like that. So one more key to keep it alive, to have a long breath, is partner up. Partner up with many other companies, with larger players, and then do apply together for these schemes.
Manuel, you also mentioned the integrated system approach. You're delivering products, though. This is not R&D. So that path towards delivering products always implies for me, okay, there's a man with a business model. What does your business model look like? And how do you see the growth of the business model?
The voice of the small company now, yeah, among definitely bigger companies. What about business model? We always are believing in hydrogen since 10 years. Okay, that's not decades, but since we were students in our company, we are believing in hydrogen, and that's our sole focus, okay? We worked for years in the integration of systems, delivering projects. We've seen many different things. And then we asked ourselves, how can we showcase our experience? How can we convince people in many different niche applications, so from marine and naval applications to the railway, to electrolysis, to drying gases? We thought we should show them we know the technology. We should show them we can handle them. And this is how our products were born. So we don't plan to be manufacturers because we cannot compete with these guys in manufacturing lines. But we want to have products which can be easily integrated for given applications, okay? And by this way, we can showcase that we are capable, that we know the systems. Because now I will say something that maybe will lead to criticism. Hydrogen is not rocket science, okay? We can handle this technology. Hydrogen is relatively easily compared to other technologies we deal with. Think at pharmaceutical, at surgery, at sending rockets to the space. That's relatively easy. 200 years ago, we were doing electrolysis. I mean, but we are not hitting. And now small companies like us thought we should showcase that we can do things, that we can handle different projects, because we believe that also at the decentralized, low, small levels, hydrogen is so important, because we want to convince people that the revolution, the industrial revolution as of today, is needing energy vectors such as hydrogen. We believe in that.
Feel free. Did you want to add something? Or no, I thought someone was nodding their head there. I am going to open this up for a couple questions from the audience. If you have a question from the audience, raise your hand and I'll run over with the microphone. I do have some, because, okay, so it's not rocket science, and yet material science is involved. And I was shocked in 2024. The most quoted line at the whole fair here in 2024 was Professor Andreas Friedrich from the German Aerospace Research Center, who said that we've actually been able to reduce iridium necessary for electrolysis tenfold. So you need 1/10, and it's not him alone. There's other people who've duplicated this stuff, but this is material science. And so I rushed to the microphone and asked him a question. I said, okay, so this tenfold reduction, because you're talking about how rare this is, if I had asked you 10 years ago, could we replace all of the natural gas with hydrogen based on the iridium available for the industry? He said, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I would have said flat out no, but I wouldn't have answered the question. If you ask me now, I can say definitely yes. So there is a complex material science thing, but I want to get back to the cost factor, because a reduction of the materials in the electrolysis industry should produce also advantages in terms of lower capital investments. But do any of you do manufacture electrolyzers and do nothing but? Okay, so basically it's systems integration, it's...
We do have another product in our portfolio. It's mills and classifier systems. And sure, we are in projects looking at the whole life cycle of such stacks, how to recycle the raw materials of stacks in the future to give stacks a second life, perhaps. Same as we do it already in batteries, where it's pretty much or similar materials. Sure, we have to look at the full life cycle, and I'm sure Bosch does it as well.
But this is sort of a reflection, you can pass the mic on, it seems to be a reflection of the fact that earlier you could actually get so many people up on the stage who do nothing but manufacture electrolyzers that we had to have 2 days, and we still had to kick people off the stage. There's too many, we can't do 12 people, the audience would sit here for 2 hours or whatever, 2 days in a row. And now it's all systems integration. That is, every one of you seems to know what you can do with this product once you have it operational. It's not simply the electrolyzer, it is actually a package that you can plug in. Well,
I mean, we all are integrating, we are advancing, and we are now realizing business cases that are working already. I think we are all at the same path, on the right path, on the right track, that things will get easier now or are getting easier already. The market is getting ready. What we need is easier rules and regulatory stuff and things like that. But what we also need is an awareness for the people, and that's why we are aiming at smaller systems as well. But let me get back. So first of all, there are, of course, electrolysis technologies available like AEM that are not using rare materials at all. So that might be a key factor as well. I wouldn't say it's another technology. We will see what's moving forward in the best way. But I think we need all those technologies because all of them have advantages and disadvantages. But getting back to the awareness, I think one of the major factors is that the people out there aren't aware of realistic business cases. Imagine you're a normal person looking at your monthly or yearly income, and people are talking about $1 billion project in 10 years for decarbonization, green targets, and stuff like that. And what shall those people think? Look at those guys talking about billions while I don't have anything to eat. Yeah? Okay, so they are not aware of it's nothing they can grab, it's nothing they can really understand why billions and billions and billions are invested for something they don't have any benefit from. They don't see a benefit. So that's why we think it's so important to use the small system scales, rolling out in huge numbers, giving real benefits and benefits for the people, benefits in business cases. The people can realize that using green energy is giving them benefits commercially and for their life. And once that's rolled out, let's say, the people will also understand that the big businesses are necessary as well. They will see the benefits. I think that's a strategy that needs to be done. And that's why it's so important that all those small integrators go their path and roll out businesses.
If I can comment, Ulf, I definitely agree. People are not aware of application cases. Let me add on top of it, people are not aware of what's the use of hydrogen. So after years in this event, or generally after years in hydrogen, people don't know that hydrogen is a vector. They think it's an energy source. And when you ask them, they have not a clear picture because we are lacking examples. Also, universities, the formation of our engineers or our chemists, I'm a chemist, it's not directed towards the energy transition. People do not know. Me as a chemist, as a PhD, as a postdoctorate, I learned about hydrogen industry and technologies after my university studies because we are not pushing it as a society. We are not transferring this need. So application cases, formation, industrial movement towards this need is so important. So at all levels, we need to push it. And I should admit that after some years, this is not changing yet. We need to do more about that.
Yeah, I agree what I've heard now. I would like to raise two more points to the cost and to the material science that the engineers maybe have to see more potential also to reduce costs, yeah? I believe, first point, I believe in innovation. I think everybody here on the stage we are very young industry. We have our first pilot project, some more, but it's very young. And when I take a look at my smartphone, and I remember 2001 or 2, somebody would have told me what I can do with my smartphone. So there's in material science, this is my second point, I think it's a lot of potential where innovation is totally underestimated. And second, I cannot judge on the system side because we are only the stack supplier, which is maybe 1/3 of a whole system. But also on the system side, when we scale up, when we find new solutions in the subsystems, there is, again, absolutely underestimated innovation potential to make the systems more efficient and also to reduce the cost.
Has the skepticism remained, Stefan? Are we still in survival mode?
I mean, the reality is, and as sad as it is, it's all about money. In the end, it's all about money, yeah? So, yeah, innovation, we need to move it forward to a point that it becomes attractive also from an investor's perspective. What they see today is risk on all ends, yeah? It's on the technology, but it's also on the offtake side. And this is why, I mean, it also needs partnerships there to make that whole thing kind of circular from one perspective. But innovation has to come and scale, yeah? Because, I mean, we have scaled up our production sites, but the scale on the real production is not happening because the FIDs did not happen yet, not in the amount that was promised.
So I can't end on this. It's not a cynical note. It's very apropos of what has actually transpired in the last 10 years here. There has been a sea change, the whole industry, and I hope you're aware of it. Sometimes people are so isolated. I know companies don't always communicate, but certainly the larger players, they're gone. They may be still doing stuff, but they have totally different concepts. They don't speak publicly the way they did 10 years ago, and that for me is shocking. But when it comes down to this concept of it's all about money, the big way of using electrolysis right now is decarbonizing the industry. And I am surprised that there are German players, particularly in the metal industry, who are stepping up and saying, okay, we're going to throw a couple of $1 billion. These are massive investments, and they are profit-driven organizations, some of them family-owned. Does it surprise us? They have a stake in the future. They want to be here tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. It's not the shareholders today that drive that. So it is very interesting. I do think the perspective is your perspective, but I hope that we get there. Thank you very much. Thank you all for your patience and your attention. And thank you, gentlemen on stage here. You all get a beer as a reward. Oh, wow. And you can join us for conversation afterwards. The beer is waiting around the corner. Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah. Join us for a beer. Thank you, Matt. Very